Karen and John Harlow, married for 5 years, had always fought. It was their routine, the same bitter words, the same accusations. But tonight, it was different. John was furious. He stormed out of the house, slamming the door behind him, and didn't return. It was the last time Karen ever saw him. The next morning, Karen woke up to an empty bed. No messages, no calls, no sign of John. She did the usual things, checked his favorite bar, called his friends, even checked their neighbor's house. But there was no trace of him anywhere. By the time she made the 911 call, Detective Larkson was already in the field, taking notes for another case. But the details of Karen's report quickly caught his attention. She hadn't just reported him missing. She was terrified. Larkson met Karen at her house later that day. She sat on the couch, her face pale, her eyes wide and distant. The house was neat, too neat, like someone had tried too hard to make everything perfect. "I don't know what happened to him," she said again, the words trembling from her lips. "He's gone, just gone. No note, no messages. It's like he vanished into thin air." Larkson studied her carefully. Her anxiety seemed genuine, but there was something off. A hesitation in her voice, a nervousness she couldn't mask. But that wasn't unusual. People always acted strange when they were under pressure. "Do you have any idea who might want to hurt him?" Larkson asked, keeping his tone neutral. Karen's gaze flickered to the kitchen, her fingers twisting the edge of her sleeve. "I don't think so. We fought, but I didn't think he'd just leave like that. I don't know where he went." Larkson took his time inspecting the house. He noticed the fresh cup of coffee on the counter, steam rising in a way that felt wrong. It was too perfect, too calm for someone who had just gone missing. The more he looked around, the more it seemed like a carefully staged set. Like she had expected someone to come searching. A few more questions, a few more answers. Larkson wasn't convinced. Not yet. Larkson had a gut feeling that something was wrong with this case, and he wasn't about to let it go. His instincts were telling him there was more to Karen's story than she was letting on. As he dug deeper into John's life, he uncovered some unsettling things. John had a history of being secretive, even to Karen. He'd been meeting with a shady business partner, and his financials showed several large, unexplained transfers of money. But what disturbed Larkson most was the CCTV footage he found from the night John went missing. At 2:47 a.m., John had been seen leaving his house on camera. But something was off. He wasn't alone. A shadowy figure walked with him, someone Larkson didn't recognize. They disappeared into the night, out of view of the camera. Karen insisted she had no idea who the figure was, but Larkson wasn't buying it. As the days dragged on, Larkson pushed harder. He visited the places John had frequented, speaking to his friends and associates. But no one knew anything. It was as if John had vanished into thin air. That's when Larkson discovered something chilling. The only person who had been consistently unreachable during the investigation was Karen. Every time he tried to contact her, her phone went to voicemail. She was avoiding him. And then came the breakthrough. One of John's old business associates, a man named Vince, came forward with a shocking revelation. He told Larkson that Karen had been planning something that involved John's disappearance. Vince didn't know the details, but he was certain Karen had been involved. The more Larkson dug, the more unsettling things began to piece together. Larkson finally confronted Karen again. She was sitting in her living room, staring at a photograph of her and John from their wedding day. Her expression was unreadable. "I know you were involved," Larkson said flatly. "I know you did something to him." Karen didn't flinch. She stood up, walked to the window, and stared outside. "You don't get it, do you?" she said, her voice almost a whisper. "I didn't do it, but I know who did." Larkson's heart skipped. He hadn't expected her to crack so easily. "You've been playing a game, Karen," he said, narrowing his eyes. "But you didn't plan for me." She looked over at him with a cold, empty smile. "John's dead, Detective," she said flatly. "But not because of me. He's dead because of something far bigger than either of us." She walked toward him slowly. Her gaze never wavered. The chilling truth was about to come out. But as Larkson stood there, unable to move, the phone in his pocket buzzed. He pulled it out. It was a message from his team. "John's body just turned up. But Karen's not going to like what we found. The body's been staged." Larkson's breath caught in his throat. It was worse than he thought. The body wasn't just staged. It was a message, a warning. John's body had been meticulously arranged in the woods, but it wasn't just his death that was strange. His eyes were open, staring into the distance, and on his chest was a note written in blood. She knew everything. She just couldn't stop it. The deeper Larkson got, the more twisted the truth became. Karen wasn't the mastermind. She was a pawn. And someone else, someone much more dangerous, had been pulling the strings all along. But the real question was, why had Karen been playing along? And more importantly, who was next?